home, those of you who've moved home, quickly think of a time when you felt at home.
Cow.
Cow, yeah. Why is that interesting?
Isn't it Welsh for sheep?
Yeah, that's spot on. It's a very traditional Welsh stew. It's a lamb stew, isn't it? So she's kind of like, it's like saying, come to visit me and I'll... I have a pedagogy in relation to how I use creative writing for engagement, which has very much been developed over the years from working with other writers. So I always work with, if I'm working with an art gallery or museum, I invite them to share with me the objects that they find most stimulating so that the museum curator can be on board.
And at the end of the war, he decided to stay in Prestige.
And from those, I will break down the activities for the young people, which allows them to have a warm-up, and then I share poems with them as a way of giving them an example of existing culture. I get them to read their poems around the room line by line.
Between now and then, I will offer you.
Because even though the workshops are very short, I think it's really important that every child speaks. And also, I think when you read poetry aloud, it creates a unity, a bit like singing in a choir, where suddenly there's this moment of shared concentration that's quite transformative. Ah, how much would the medal cost?
Well, it is silver. So
it's a wonderfully fresh idea for us to do things working with writing. And it's been a real revelation for us looking at just how engaged the pupils have been.
We've written about lots of different stories, like the story of Sarah Chandler, and we did one today.
And William
Davis. And it's just really fun, and each poem you write has a real meaning.
I think it's been really useful for us that we can look in a much more cross-subject way, and it's allowed us especially to engage with secondary schools because we can go across subjects with them quite easily, but it also has allowed us to use our local history collection a lot more. The whole Cynefin theme has allowed us to really bring out little things that have been in storage, that have wonderful stories to tell, that we can really sort of engage with the pupils with.
So Cynefin is a term which means a place where you feel comfortable, where you belong. And I think it's not hiraeth, so it's not about longing, it's somewhere where you feel you belong. And I think it's quite important for two reasons. I think it's important because it's all part of Wales's enthusiasm for really reinforcing the Welsh identity. I also think it links to the beautiful landscape, but I also think that it links to the fact that Wales is a nation of sanctuary. It is welcoming in people seeking sanctuary. And this idea that you can have Cynefin, you can feel belonging for a place, even though you might not have been born up there, or even though you might not have any family there. And it's the way all these different places, through objects, through stories, open themselves up to you.
So all I want you to do is just write a couple of letter descriptions, a couple of sentences, just to describe a textile, just to get you warmed up.
So we've been using Newtown Textile Museum and the history of Newtown and the textile industry to facilitate creative writing workshops. So we've done a lot of writing that's kind of incorporated the idea of carding and weaving, interweaving poetry like textiles were done. Today we looked at Amelia Ray, who was one of the first female drapers, who had her own shop in Newtown, which is now Greg's. So we did some reimagining about her and her life. We imagined her coming into 2023 and what that would look like for her. And the kids have been really great. They've got such good imaginations. I've been really impressed with them.
But try and imagine that you're Amelia Ray, so you're from the 1800s. You know, so something I always carry in my pocket. It's not going to be a mobile phone because she wouldn't have had a mobile phone.
That's Amelia Ray in there, isn't it?
Yes.
I can see clearly above my head as I glance upon the ceiling. In front of me I can see Lowry's face looking at me. I can hear Lowry's whispering at night with no fright. I hear the storm as loud as an angry crowd. I can feel the desk as my new bed. I hope to be at 100% battery. I overheard Lowry saying how she can't survive without me. My best friend is the charger, but sometimes it leaves. I regret hoping to be at 100% and losing my friend. I fear dying at 0. Hopefully Lowry will be my hero. I have a passcode that nobody knows.
So I think combining the literacy and the museum together has helped them really be a bit more creative. And I think they've been able to use the skills they've learnt in school and apply them, but they've also learnt new things, and that's been really lovely to see them do that.
Through the training opportunities that the GEM project allowed us, I worked with other writers and with other colleagues from other museums, and we actually developed workshops, activities and sessions that linked very much to the framework. Now, museums, creatives wouldn't have had that chance without GEM. So I think it's very important because GEM stands maybe 2 steps back from everything the Welsh Government is trying to unroll and is back from the actual intensity of being in school, so can offer a really intelligent overview and can also access, I mean, it's great that GEM came in and then asked me to find local writers. So I like the way that GEM respects the importance of locality within its wider remit.